All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Thank you for being here. My name is Jonathan. This is my wife, Blakely. If this is your first time finding our podcast, we own and operate Digital Barbell. We're an online training and nutrition coaching company, and currently we're living, working, and traveling full-time in our 2023 Airstream International. How was that for an intro? We have, this was originally going to be a Q&A episode. We put a sticker up on Instagram, and there were 3 or 4 questions that were RV based, like how are we doing with maintaining our health and fitness and nutrition, all that stuff, our workouts, while we're living in this camper. And there was some other great questions also, but I think we'll save those for another episode and make this one a strictly RV episode. How does that sound?
All right. Yeah, because it's been 3 months, and honestly, this was my biggest concern, was like, how are we going to maintain, our workouts before we had a home gym, and how are we going to continue to run the business successfully while we don't just on Monday go into the office, stay there all week, come out Friday, and that's our general schedule. Now we're like driving some of our work days and, kind of making it all work within the scope of a week. So those are my 2 biggest concerns. Like, will we still maintain our fitness? Will we still maintain our business?
The business?
the eating, the nutrition part didn't really concern me, because this thing is, when you travel in an RV, it's different than traveling out of a hotel and stuff. You have a kitchen and a refrigerator in your pantry, everything with you. So that part didn't concern me. It was...
I think we can get into that a little bit more, because I have some other thoughts on that, but I don't want to spoil it right here in the beginning. Why don't we get into today's podcast sponsor for everybody? We have a repeat sponsor.
Sweet.
I mean, I don't remember last time they sponsored an episode.
Okay.
Why don't you let everybody know when, or who the sponsor is?
Trader Joe's. Cheers to this Trader Joe's water. No, that is one of the bigger exciting things for me, is like where we lived in this small town out hill country of Texas. The nearest Trader Joe's was like 45 minutes. And as grocery prices get higher and higher, like Trader Joe's is still, to me, the best value in groceries. And it was hard to, when we moved out there, we're like, okay, we're going to drive into Austin like once every 2 weeks and go to Trader Joe's, and we didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I've been really excited to be in cities near Trader Joe's.
So when we were in Tucson last week, we hit it up twice, I think, and restocked before we left.
I know.
But now we're back in a Trader Joe's desert.
No, there's a Trader Joe's.
Oh, that's right. There's one here in Colorado.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you shop at Trader Joe's, you already know, like, they have some really good stuff that you can't get other places, and the prices are good. It's easy to get hooked.
It's a simple shopping experience, because the stores are small, and the checkout experience is like no other. They actually care about your groceries. They want to put them in the bag and make sure they're not going to get destroyed. They talk to you it's just it's
a
like
business
no other.
of excellence.
It is a business of excellence.
So we'll be expecting our discount coupon any day now, Trader Joe's, for allowing you to sponsor this episode. We left the windows open for this recording. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see there's an RV right behind us. This is the tightest place that we've ever camped. We came here last year, and when we left, we're like, we'll probably never go back there again, because it's so tight. Yet here we are, because we're right around the corner from Garden of the Gods. We have the Manitou Incline here. There's just tons of great hiking within walking distance of here.
It's actually a funny story. We have booked this spot solely because it comes with free access to the city's community center, which was awesome. That's kind of like when we traveled last year for 3 weeks. That's where we kind of found our groove. Was okay, cities that have these community centers, you can join them. This one came free with this RV park, and that's where we can really get into our groove. And we did that a couple times in a row, and we're like, okay, this is how we're going to find our fitness on the road, aside from the equipment we bring. But we got here on Monday, and this city has had an amazing amount of snowfall and snow melt, and they're having trouble processing it, and the water is not usable right now.
Yeah.
So everything's closed. The schools are closed, the community centers closed, restaurants and stuff are closed, and you're really just supposed to drink the water. We're in hats because we have been able to take super quick showers, not wash our hair.
It's wild.
Anyway, it's wild. So we didn't get to use the community center, but that's okay.
Yes. But, okay, that's a good transition into so how have we done so far with maintaining our workout schedule and our overall fitness? Do you feel like we've backslid at all? And just in general, how are we doing?
Yeah, so We have done a variety of things so far already, and one of them being join community centers when we're in a city with a community center. It can be the same thing with joining a gym. When we set out on this, we thought like, oh, we're going to immediately join like Planet Fitness and Anytime Fitness, and that's going to be our go-tos. But we've really liked the community centers, and honestly, there's a lot of cities that don't have a Planet Fitness. Like Planet Fitness is like West Coast. I think Anytime Fitness is East Coast, and we're kind of right somewhere in the middle where there's not always like those available. So we have found the community centers to be like our go-to if there is one that's affordable.
Yeah, I would say like when we were trying to make the decision to do this, a big part of it was like the budget. Like we made a budget for what we thought every category was going to cost in this lifestyle, and with that approach, we're definitely spending more than we had budgeted for, because Anytime Fitness you can get for like $30-$50 a month.
But that's reoccurring.
That's recurring every month, whether you use it or not. Planet Fitness is even cheaper, like $20 a month.
And that's like buy one, get one free. You can just bring a buddy anytime.
And if you do a week membership at one of these community centers, it's probably more like $50 for that week.
Yeah.
Or if you want to join a local gym, like we did in our hometown that we went back to, some of those places are going to charge you like between $100 and $200
for a month,
just for 1 month, because you're not being willing to sign a contract. So that's something that has been a learning experience. Is just like we're spending more on fitness than we thought we would.
But it's not every month. Like this last month, we didn't spend any on the gym because we've just been doing campsite workouts because of where we've been camping. So I think like overall, we've definitely like kept up our schedule. Like so, the way I would do the programming is I write the workouts a week in advance, and I like to test the workout, make sure like the whole day is not going too long. Make sure everything kind of makes sense. Like things aren't being repeated. Like, oh, my arms are sore and we're doing like this again. So it's really been important to me to like keep up with the workouts, and so I think that's like an extra incentive to do that. And so if we can't have access, like here we thought we were going to have access to a gym, but we don't, so we just pulled out our dumbbells and are able to do what we do there. We actually just shot a YouTube video on like everything that we bring. So having just like a pair of adjustable dumbbells, which we used to have some adjustable dumbbells, but they were the kind that only changed in like 10-pound increments, and we upgraded to the Bowflex ones that kind of are shaped like a big giant large dumbbell, no matter what size. If you have 5 pounds, it's the same size as if you have 50 pounds. But they up to 25 pounds, it's like 5-pound increments, and so I've really enjoyed having these. So we have that. We have a collapsible bench. We have bands. We have one kettlebell. We even carry a half of a horse stall mat so that we can like have a nice secure place to jump rope on, to do burpees on, push-ups.
Because a lot of campsites don't have a nice floor. It's like dirt,
crushed
or gravel,
granite, or something like that. So you want to have something that where you can lay it out. Even at first, I was thinking we could use a yoga mat, but still, if there's rocks, like it pokes through,
or the wind blows it away.
Yeah,
I would say
that's been great.
Like getting the bench really made a big difference for me, because I don't really like doing floor press all that much. The bench is great for having a place to support yourself. For dumbbell rows, it's good for LTEs.
We sold that from my mom. Like she had it. We had gotten it for her. We've told a lot of clients about this specific bench. It's like the Flybird bench, and it's collapsible but very sturdy. And we saw it at our house, and I was like, can I take this and then buy you one?
Yeah.
So, because we want to take this on the road because it's so lightweight.
And we actually have all this equipment that we carry with us and recommend in our Amazon store, so we can put a link to that below. But that was a big game changer for me, was getting the bench. I'll be the Debbie Downer of this, the campsite workout side of things, and just say that some of this has to do with the fact that I have a shoulder injury right now, and some of it is just the nature of doing workouts with limited equipment. Is like sometimes I end up repeating the same exercise more often than I normally would.
3 times a week,
Right, so that's just one of the limitations. Like, so when we go to a place that has access to a full gym, I get really excited because I have access to different pieces of equipment that let me work around the injury. But then most of all, just because our dumbbells max out at 52.5 pounds. So, I'm not trying to brag here, but I can squat more than 105 pounds. I can RDL more than 105 pounds. So it stunts the ability for me to continue to hit the weights that I normally would if I had access to a barbell all the time. But I think how we've kind of structured the last 3 months as far as our lifestyle has worked to where I can still get in the gym, and like when I do have access to a barbell, you better believe I'm going to be hitting some heavy deadlifts, hitting some heavy back squats, because I know that I can maintain I can maintain very close to my overall strength just with hitting heavy weights without having to do it all the time.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So
if we bounce between, having access to a gym, like we're about to be a full month in a place where we're going to get access to a gym again with the barbells, and that's going to be great, And then there might be another like 2 weeks where we don't, when we start to travel again, and then maybe we have another longer extended period with a gym. So I think like our workout schedule remains fairly the same, but we. The equipment that we're able to use is the thing that changes. And I think that's been actually a good, it's been good for me to go through that, because I've been spoiled. I've owned a gym and had access to everything I could possibly want. And it's helped me think about how to write workouts for people, because I've worked out in different places and I see what it's like to work out in a gym with a bunch of people and understand, how it flows. So I think it's helped me a lot in that part.
And I think that translates over to how you write the program for our clients too.
That's what I was just saying.
Yeah. So I think that's a win, big time.
Yeah.
Well, I will say another thing is that probably a bigger part of our fitness now is walking. Honestly, when we're in a place like this in Colorado, situation isn't ideal for working out outside our campsite all the time. So today, our workout, if we were in a town with a gym, we probably would have gone to the gym. But instead we did a 4-mile hike with the dogs, and that was our fitness.
In a significant grade and incline and elevation, and my heart rate was up to 155, so it's not just taking a walk,
right?
So I think if we have access to some challenging hiking, that's kind of the use your fitness aspect of why we even do this stuff, because we get to go outside and use our the fitness we've been building up in the gyms for years.
And I would say if we go a long period of time where we are in a place where we don't have a gym, we only have our campsite workouts, and we don't have that more extreme hiking, that's where we'll start to bring in more running into the mix to get a little bit more of the intensity. Because I think it would be really easy to put the weights aside, not want to get them out of the truck, not want to mess with going to the gym, and only make lower intensity walking a huge part of our fitness. But I know that we can't do that, and that with where we're at in our stage of life, we need to be lifting weights to maintain our strength and muscle and all that kind of stuff. So summary is we're doing good at staying on track. It looks different than it has in the past, but I think it's made you better at writing programming, and it's made us better at becoming adaptable to whatever situation pops up.
Yeah. And first choice is going to be to join a gym or community center. Second choice is going to be to do campsite workouts. Most of the time that works out. We try to get campsites where we can have a little bit of a private area to do that in, because when someone's parked right next to you, you just don't want to be in front of someone's window doing that.
You don't know what they're doing in there.
And then third option is to get out and in addition to all those things, yesterday we did a campsite workout and we did a longer walk. So using the walking, hiking, running as a supplement, just extra bonus stuff we're doing.
And then one time, what we try to do, as long as the schedule works out, is to go for a long walk on a morning when we're going to have a drive. So we start off the day with some steps. There's been days recently where we couldn't do that. We rolled into Santa Fe, New Mexico at 4 or 5 p.m. and I think you had I
had less than 1,000 steps, and I was like, wow. It's because we got up super early in the morning, got coffee and got in the car, and that was
an 8-hour drive day.
Halfway through the day, I was like, I have 500 steps and it's 3 p.m. This is not going to be good. But we did it. We put laundry in. We walked this property because it had trails for an hour and a half, doing laundry, walking the dogs, getting all of our energy out. And by the end of the day, I was like, I cannot believe we have 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
But
I think the bigger picture really is and this speaks to anybody listening to this that has challenges in their life, whether it's you have to travel for work or you just have a weird schedule or a lot of responsibilities for your family or whatever. Accept the fact that you have those challenges. That is your normal life. Now us living this lifestyle, that is our normal life. We can't use it as an excuse to be you know what, I'm not going to get my 10,000 steps anymore. And I don't want to come across as David Goggins, tough, kind of drill sergeant kind of thing here, but those are your circumstances of life. You just have to decide, are you going to do what it takes to maintain the the things that it takes to stay in shape and to be healthy, because it's really easy to backslide and just be like, this is a busy season, like I'll be better about it. No, like you're in your life, you have a busy life. You're listening to this, I promise you.
I think that's a good transition to talking about like running the business in this lifestyle, because same thing is true. Like we have to decide, like, you know, we have the responsibilities of running the business, and yes, we might be in like vacation spots or things where like, oh, I want to go do and see this, but like priority number one is to run the business. And so we have to like kind of what you were saying.
I would say like because when we put stuff in the Instagram story about where we are, we get a lot of people send messages like, you gotta go check this out,
gotta go see this,
and of course we're human, like we want to go do that, we want to go have all those experiences, but we, like Blakely said, like our number one priority is to still show up for our clients. Like there should be no difference in the level of service we give to our clients. And even the people who just depend on us for information that they can trust, if they're not our client, like we don't want that to change with this lifestyle. So like
we want it to be able to like help it, you know, like, to benefit it.
So we want to go we want to go see all those things. We just can't on this trip maybe. Well, this is the reason that we're able to like come back to places hopefully. But like nothing has really changed like in our cycle of doing things for the business. Like 3 emails still go out every week. A podcast still goes out every week. Our clients still get prompt responses to their workouts. All the clients get their check-ins on their designated days.
They still get workouts. They still, you know, everything is still flowing as it did.
Right.
We have our meeting with Haley's, you know, like all that kind of stuff.
And it all just comes down to being intentional with the things that we know matter, and that translates to everything in life. So I think there's a lesson in there. But if anything has slid, it's just like our regular posting in our feed on Instagram, which we kind of have a love-hate relationship with anyway.
That has nothing to do with this schedule.
But we stayed pretty up to date with
stayed true to not loving that. No,
I mean we
try to do that.
We try to put things in the Instagram story because we enjoy that more of documenting and stuff, and I know people like to, you know, just enjoy watching along. What else you
nutrition. You had something to say about the nutrition.
What was I going to say about nutrition?
I was saying that I think staying on track with our nutrition has not changed. Things that we eat, maybe like, you know, we're shopping in different grocery stores, so the products that we eat has changed. You know, and one specific example is we found that it's hard to keep, like we used to eat a ton of like fresh cucumbers and bell peppers and things like that, and like we found that like the way these refrigerators work and stuff, like you can't keep them out in the pantry because they'll just like, I don't know, it gets too hot, I guess. Rot
too quickly.
And then you can't keep them in the fridge because they freeze. So we have had to go to like frozen broccoli and cauliflower and frozen fruits and vegetables more than fresh. And, you know, I think that's okay because
still just as nutritious.
That's really the big change. But we have, you know, a kitchen and a, you know, way to cook in here, so it's pretty easy to stay on track, I think. What were you going to say?
I guess it really ties into what I just said about like looking at a period of your life as like this is not normal. Like I'm going to kind of be off the rails during this not normal time, but then when things are more normal, I'm going to get back to it. So we went into it with the mindset like, you know, this is our new normal, so we're just going to continue to keep the same routine that we have. But I would say it's harder when you're the environment is so important. And like you said earlier, like we're always in an environment where like 75% of the people
are on vacation.
So they're not trying to live an active, healthy lifestyle. So you see more things that like are tempting to fall into.
You see people busting out the margarita machines at 3 p.m. outside their campsite, and you're like, oh.
Right.
You gonna invite us? Like, you know, like things like that. Like, yeah.
And I think like the only reason we've been successful in staying on track with our nutrition is because we set up the environment that we control exactly the same as we would when we were living
in a house
at home. So I don't think it's been hard for us, but I can really see how if you look at it as a temporary time where you're just going to do something different, or you're going to not control your environment because the situation has changed a little bit, it could be really, really challenging. I'll say, I mean, I've gained probably 2 pounds over the last 3 months that we've been doing this.
That being said, it is hard to weigh yourself in a trailer. We have a spongy kind of floor, and the trailer can be at different angles at all times. I will get like 5-pound swings. I will put the scale down and I'll weigh myself, and then I'll turn it this way and it'll be 3 pounds off, and then I'll turn it this way and it's 2 pounds different. And I'm just like, I have no idea how much I weigh, because it's totally weird.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Like, we do continue to still weigh ourselves, like whether it's accurate or not.
Whether it's accurate or not, we don't know which one to believe.
At least we still got a little bit of awareness.
But we can go through the other feedback of like, how do clothes fit? How do you look in the mirror? Like, how do you feel energy-wise? We can go through all of those metrics instead of just like not going by like, what does the scale say? Yeah,
I usually just get out of the shower and turn to Blakely and say, do I look fat? That's my metric right there.
Oh, goodness.
What does the future hold for this?
We're making a beeline back to Texas.
but not for the reason people might think. Like, we're having a blast. Like, we have been through many ups and downs just in this 3 months. Like,
this was
a lot of crying, a lot of second guessing, a lot of arguing. Like, we've never argued this much in our, well, maybe not never, but in our marriage. Like, it's been tough at times for sure, but we've been on kind of a high streak lately.
This was a huge, like, kind of like hurdle to get over. For me personally, I think.
Which part?
Like, being in Colorado. Basically, we had been perusing Texas for quite a while. We even stayed a whole month in the city that we used to live in, and then we started making our way west. And I really wanted to continue to just stay around in Texas for a little bit longer to get more comfortable with the lifestyle. And he was pushing for like, I think that we should push and like travel somewhere while we're getting comfortable with the lifestyle, because to me it was just like,
that is the lifestyle.
But just learning how to live like this is like one whole like hurdle to jump. I don't need to like travel to do it. I just needed to like learn how to live in this small of a space. Anyway, but he pushed for it. We went first to Arizona.
New Mexico.
New Mexico?
Yeah.
We went to New Mexico and then right into southern Arizona, spent some time in southern Arizona, went to northern Arizona, crossed back over to New Mexico, and then now we're in Colorado, and, just kind of did like a loop like that. And like even the other day, like I have more towing experience than him, because I used to tow boats, like from when I learned how to drive, I was towing. So like towing has never like scared me, but the Airstream is big. Yeah. It's big and heavy, and you can't see. Like when I towed a boat, you can just look out the rear view and see across the boat. Like, you have to learn how to use a backup camera and your mirrors differently. And so, it's just a bigger thing, and I don't want, I don't want to scratch it. also.
It's already all dented up. What's the problem?
From hail, not from driving.
Yeah.
But anyway, like one morning I just got up and I got in the driver's seat. We had no idea where we were going. We were leaving,
Sedona.
We were leaving, New
Mexico,
Santa Fe, and we were driving to Colorado, and I was like, I just want to drive this. I don't know what the roads are going to be. Like, I'm assuming we're going to have to cross some mountain passes. I just want to drive and like prove to myself, like, I don't fear, our truck can handle the rig of going into the mountains. Like, I could drive it anywhere in Texas, flat areas, but going into the mountains was
actually some really sketchy stuff in Texas, believe it or not.
It was one of the things that I was like, okay. So anyway, we enjoyed ourselves where all the places that we were, even though like sometimes the conditions weren't amazing, but we enjoyed ourselves, and I think we've proven to ourselves that we can do this.
I totally agree. You kicked butt. You towed like a boss.
Well, I mean, the whole journey too. We've just learned a lot.
Definitely. And we still have most of our family in Texas too, or most of it, if not all. So like, we don't want to just completely abandon our families and take a driving trip around the United States and never see them again for a year. So that's one of the reasons that we're going back to Texas.
Yeah, we had originally planned, like, we're going to, go west a little bit, come back, see everybody, and then, like, go east. And then come back. So that's kind of like, we've done a little bit of the west, and now we're going to go east.
Yeah. And we've learned that driving a lot is very expensive, not only because, like, diesel adds up, it costs money to drive everywhere, but when you stay at these places for one night to 7 nights, the nightly rate is a lot higher than if you stay a week or longer. And like we said in the beginning, we had a budget for how this whole thing was going to play out too, so we're trying to stay within that too, and remember that we don't have an end to this. We don't have to try to experience everything within the first 6 months or year. We can like play the long game and just see where this goes.
And like find places that, we want to go back to, or find places that we're like, I don't need to go back there anymore.
And that's honestly, like, the hardest part of this is knowing where to go. So if you're listening to this and it helps if you have an RV, because it changes things. If you need to go to a city and bring your RV.
You don't always get to stay, like, this place is the exception. That's why we're so tied in here. That's why our neighbors are right there, is because you are in the mix. You are in the city. You can walk to everything. Like, most places aren't like that. Most places, like the RV park or whatever you're going to stay in, or state park or wherever we're going to stay, is usually like a little bit outside the city. So you get, like, we really wanted to go back to Boise, Idaho, because we lived there for several years, and it was hard to find like a place to stay there because
they're further out. And
I was like, it's not going to be the same experience as like when we used to actually live in the city and we could walk to everything.
I was just going to say, if you made it to this point in the episode, we respect your opinion. You're our people, so please leave a comment if you have a suggestion of some place that we should go. Like Blakely said, like, we want to start venturing east at the end of summer and into early fall. Yeah. Before it gets snowy and that kind of stuff. So please drop a comment or send us a message on Instagram. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Follow us along on Instagram if you don't. You're only watching us on YouTube, and you'll kind of see what's going on a day-to-day basis. All right. Talk to you guys later.